Honourable member from Livingston McLeod.
Mr. Speaker, these NDP risky economic policies are compounding the effects of low oil prices, and businesses and workers are paying the price. Everywhere you look, businesses are cutting back their hours, laying off their staff, or finding new ways to reduce their costs. Meanwhile, in government, times have never been better. In fact, this government added over 1,413 jobs since being elected. Wow. Albertans understand times are tough, and they're making the hard choices to get by, Mr. Speaker. Why isn't this government doing the same?
Deputy Premier.
Thank you for the question, Mr. Speaker. I think Alberta families are very proud of the fact that we've hired teachers, educational assistants, healthcare staff. That's what Albertans voted for, and that's what they're getting, Mr. Speaker. And there have been 257 full-time equivalents added across government, very different from the number mentioned by the member opposite. That's because we're investing in an office for the status of women, in a climate change office, facts that we know are very important to moving our society forward, and I will not apologize for that, Mr. Speaker.
Again, Mr. Speaker, thank you. The Premier was already running the most expensive government in all of Canada. Now she's making this same government even bigger and more expensive by hiring 3,260 more full-time equivalents in the 16 to 17 calendar year. Yet last year, the Alberta economy shrunk by 4%, and 100,000 tax-paying Albertans lost work in the private sector, all while yet more manager positions were added to the government payroll. Will the Premier commit to putting an end to bloated ranks of managers and only hire when it's necessary for front-line workers?
Deputy Premier.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. 3,013 frontline workers for universities, colleges, school boards, and AHS were hired because this government was elected and the cuts being proposed by the members opposite did not go ahead, Mr. Speaker. We also have invested in economic development and economic diversification, status of women, and climate change. Three priorities we know that the official opposition is not keen on because what they want to do is sit on their hands and pretend that the ways of the past are somehow going to bring us forward, Mr. Speaker. Albertans voted for change, and this is exactly how we're delivering.
Mr. Speaker, people are losing work, and when they look to this government for support, they're told to go somewhere else, apply for EI, or wait for one of their many failed job subsidy programs to stick. That is, unless they possess the NDP worldview, then there's a cushy job waiting for them in the government. In reality, Albertans are bracing for yet another year of economic contraction. To the Premier, will your government face the facts and realize that fiscal restraint and managerial hiring freezes are absolutely necessary when Albertans are losing work and business are suffering?
Mr. Speaker, we have demonstrated fiscal restraint. Hiring positions need to be approved by the Deputy Minister, and we are certainly making sure that we are operating a lean, efficient public service. But that doesn't mean that we have to turn back the clock, like members opposite have advocated for, to the positions of the 1990s, when teachers were laid off, educational assistants were laid off, nurses were fired, and the public service was shrunk to a deficit so significant that we have hospitals and schools across this province that have been ignored for far too long, Mr. Speaker. I hear the members opposite saying they want new schools and new hospitals. We need people in the public service to help us deliver, Mr. Speaker.